Colonel Vermin Katafi, a once tranquil shepherd boy who grew up on the remote banks of the Sam River in outer Mongolia with his 27 sisters, turned to terrorism at an early age. Now, after years of pillaging innocent people, he is taking control of Outer Heaven, a small nation on the outskirts of South Africa. Here he is sole tyrant and radical dictator. He rules with bullets and bombs, and in only a few months he has outlawed democracy and turned harmless villagers into mercenaries for a global terrorist network. But his biggest threat is yet to come, for, as an obsessed madman, he has created the ultimate superweapon. It's Katafi's greatest dream and the world's most hideous nightmare. It's called Metal Gear, and it must be destroyed before the crazed colonel unleashes his violence across the globe. Before there were the Patriots, before there was Raiden, before there was the Les Enfants Terribles project, before there was Zanzibar land and ninjas and rogue military units and Hollywood production values and a complete suspension of the laws of reality, there was Metal Gear. It wasn't a game about a clone of the greatest soldier of all time dedicated to the eradication of Metal Gear while dealing with rampant double-crosses from his support staff via lengthy codec sequences as he ran around in the cardboard box. It was about a guy named Solid Snake, a guy ordered to infiltrate a terrorist installation and blow up their big weapon called Metal Gear while running around in a cardboard box. And the bad guy wasn't a legendary soldier fallen from grace staging a revolt against a secret society that controls the world from the shadows. It was just your commanding officer being an asshole. Back in 1987, a little video game designer named Hideo Kojima decided to flaunt unconventional gaming mechanics and created a stealth-based game with an emphasis on story. And since they had a hit on their hands, Konami had to export the game to the Western market. Trouble is, not too many people over their head in MSX2 consoles, so Konami decided to take Kojima's game and port it over to the NES, and then subsequently ported to even more consoles. Unfortunately, a lot of creative liberties were taken with Metal Gear NES that it could never shine as brightly as the source material. Just to put it in perspective, Kojima felt that Metal Gear on the Nintendo was, quote, utter garbage, while also thinking that Snake's Revenge was a faithful sequel. Therefore, if we felt that Snake's Revenge was awful, then... oh god. Oh, and that intro you saw 3 minutes ago? Yeah, that was taken word for word from the manual. Yeah, apparently the localization people thought this would be a laugh riot. Yeah, if that doesn't set the tone for this game, nothing will. The original Metal Gear was largely a linear progression from building to building with occasional backtracking, but it really wasn't an open-world experience. The NES version starts out linear, and then around this point, it becomes confusing. The classic line, well, that and I feel asleep. Anyway, you come out of the truck and you're in a different place, and obviously offhand you're not entirely sure what to do, so you check the other trucks and now you're in another place, so, where am I actually supposed to go? You have 3-4 whole areas and no obvious idea as to which one you're supposed to be in, and you wander around in one of them and get killed by a tank, and then you go around this one, and this one, and... okay, this game just screams for a map. It's a real shame that it didn't come with one. The layout is... excuse me.
The game actually came with a map, stupid.
How did you get this number?
Your trashy girlfriend talks in her sleep. She's the town bicycle. She's giving everybody a ride. Anyways, use the map to find titties and shit. Maps are like picking up chicks. You gotta find a giant box of chocolate and a bundle of tampons under a laundry basket tied to a stick. Metal Gears are a lot like prostate exams. A long finger goes up your ass and a man gives you orange juice.
In the original game, the trucks are intended to be beginner's traps where a big boss would order you to enter them and you'd be sent back about a half hour's worth of trekking. A goes back to B, B's go back to C, C goes back to D, and at D you're out of luck. However, on the Nintendo, the trucks move you forward, and what's more, they're circular. A goes to B, B goes to C, C goes to D, and D goes back to A. While it no longer serves as an annoying trap, it's now a major continuity shifter, as first-timers will wind up in places they were never meant to be until later in the game, and can cause you to pass important game events, which I'll explain later. Once you've figured out which building was the right one, the game starts to fall back into place. The earlier parts of the game, and some of the later ones, they're mapped out a little bit differently than the original. But eventually you reach a point where the majority of the map is just the same. It's as if they started out wanting to do something different, but then decided, you know what, it's just fine the way it is. One thing that makes this game very discouraging to new players is getting killed and losing progress. The original was generally kind enough to just send you back to the last time you entered an elevator, but in the Nintendo version, if you get killed at any point before Snake gets captured, you're going right back to start. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. You're not getting those 20 minutes back. A new concept to our generation of gaming was the idea that the characters in a game could lie to us. Big Boss would lie to you about a lot of things, and if you do exactly the things he told you to do, and you'd think, what? I did what he told me to. What's going on? If you've ever played Faxanadu, and if you haven't, get on that, the characters there will tell you exactly what to do. They don't drop hints, they outright tell you what you're supposed to do. Yeah, ain't that the truth? So to go from the kindness of strangers to your commanding officer is out to kill you? That was pretty innovative. One of the combat problems is that in the original version, whenever Snake took damage, you would get the standard few seconds of invulnerability before he could take damage again. In the Nintendo version, no such protection from regular attacks, so long as they keep hitting you, you keep taking damage, and if one gets close enough, he'll take you right out just brushing up against you. Some of the differences between the two games are pretty glaring. For starters, the first two buildings don't have basements. The place you're taken to after you're captured is sort of a standalone area of the first building, and all the wall to know where to bomb to find items has been replaced with just choose card 3 and receive item. These guys, who are normally capable of flying around, have had their wings clipped, which is a fact I don't really mind. Rather than have to parachute off the roof to find out our professor is in another castle, you just have to fight, or just walk past Twin Shot, which takes the place of the Hind D. I say walk because there's nothing to stop you from just walking past some of the bosses unless they drop an item. You can do it with Twin Shot, you can do it with Machine Gun Kid, you could even do it with the tank, and I didn't bother defeating any of them. Here's a trick I think everyone knows. If a pit gets the drop on you, open up a menu, exit out, the hole has stopped expanding. It's still there, but it didn't go the whole way. Anyway, the actual sneaking around is pretty straightforward. Most enemies won't actually see you unless you walk right in front of them. There's always the cardboard box, and you can shoot while you're in it. So if you wait around for hours upon hours, fiddling with keys and farming for items and searching for hostages to level up, or you just cheat, eventually you'll reach this point. Anyway, behind that door is Metal Gear. I know because it's on that way in the MSX version, and you have to bomb its legs in a specific order given to you by Dr. Petrovich while dodging lasers. So there is absolutely no reason why when I walk through this door, I won't see an equally intimidating Metal Gear behind it. Where's Metal Gear? Did somebody steal it and leave me this broken 486? I don't get it. The game is called Metal Gear. The Metal Gear is displayed very prominently on the cover. So why is there no Metal Gear? I paid for Metal Gear. I was told very specifically that it was a bipedal tank. Oh well, 16 plastic explosives it is. 15 and 16. 17. 18? What's going on? Why hasn't Metal Gear Blue Screen of Death blown up? Is there something I'm not doing? Or rather, something I haven't done yet? Well, let's see. I didn't actually defeat Twin Shot, Machine Gun. I never actually saved Petrovich or his daughter. I never blew up the tank, and I never encountered the Fury, so... Okay. The people who made this game were stupid enough to let you bypass most of it, but they were smart enough to put safeguards in place to stop you from beating it? Okay, there's a guy on our forum, goes by the moniker Wolfpox. He has this theory that all of Metal Gear Solid 2 was a VR simulation. That plus Scientology makes more sense than this. So, I don't get it. Is this computer Metal Gear, or is it a computer that controls it remotely? And if it is, couldn't they just get another computer to do it? And if not, does that mean that a giant computer can roam the countryside and launch nukes at will? Okay, it's cheat time. Anyway, the end remains the same. Big Boss admits he's a traitor and attacks Snake without any mention of paternity, New England-based football teams, or tonight's winning lottery numbers. You blow him up and you escape through this door, and if you're really advanced, you can use the bag of cigarettes to extend your timer, but since you're going the right way, it won't matter. Spoiler alert, Snake lives! And yeah, the game ends. Thank God. Utter garbage. I think that's being generous. This game is an abomination. It's a stain upon the legacy of the original game in many different words that I can't say because I'm trying to keep this G-rated. But, you know, we could have saved ourselves a lot of grief if we just noticed this one thing. How come there's 4 people parachuting in?